Famous luminaries, both past and present, have been and will always be drawn to Musenberg, such as Agatha Christie. Her plays are still on annually at the Mask Theatre. George Bernard Shaw checking out the waves at Surfer's Corner. Cecil John Rhodes. Rudyard Kipling. Margaret Gardner, former Miss South Africa and Miss Universe. World surfing champion Sean Thompson. Heart transplant pioneer Professor Chris Barnard, Nelson Mandela.
Musenberg, where international film, modelling and television crews fly in for the finest backdrops in all the world. Robert Mitchum. Bo Derek. Musenberg beachfront transformed into 20th Century Fox's movie 12 Days of Terror.
Ahoy there, lifeguard! Yeah, you! So, how many lives have you saved today?
Hello, Louise.
I need your opinion if you'd be so kind. Which one do you like better?
Green. Goes with your eyes.
Nicolas Cage. Colin Farrell. Selma Hayek.
The new James Bond, Daniel Craig's movie, using the Balmoral building as an amusement centre in a night scene.
More than 70 guys surfing a wave, one singular wave.
One wave.
One wave. I said wave, single, you know. Bottom line is, you got one wave breaking, you got more than 70 guys running at one given point in time for more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
That's what happened down in Cape Town in Musenberg. We broke the world record by getting more than 70 people to ride a wave. There have been
All at the same time?
All at the same time. I mean, how do
And
you
we're
do that?
claiming it, right? We're claiming it.
We are going to claim it for sure. They've sent it forward, you know, for obviously it has to be verified. All
Yeah.
reports have to come back, but
If the Guinness Book of Records don't recognize it, we'll just send some of our main minor over there and kick some ass.
and the whole aim of breaking this world record to get the most amount of surfers on a wave was for the shark spot.
We've already had 150 entries. We've got about another 100 we'd expect down at the beach today. We've got some perfect conditions coming through down here at Musenberg. Guinness World Record attempt. What we're going to do is we're going to have 2 jet skis in the water, Thomas Kleinans and Gig Cilliers. They're going to signal the guys on which wave to catch. We're also going to sound a siren and turn over this lollipop over here. While we're doing that, obviously the guys, we're going to have 6 different attempts to do it. And yeah, we're trying to beat 46 held by Bali. We're trying to raise as much funds as we can for the shark spotters, try and make this place a bit of a safer place to come. All right, well, it all started probably about 2 months ago. We saw that a surf school in Ireland had just broken the world record, and we decided that it would be a good idea to try and bring it to Cape Town, to Musenberg.
Okay, I'm Patrick David. I'm the head shark spotter at Musenberg. Okay, we got guys sitting at Boy Club. You can see the orange and red umbrella they got on top there. Okay, they my head lookout people. They got polarized glasses and binoculars. And they watch Kalk Bay and St. James as well. And the guys are in radio contact with me. Whatever they see, they will let me know. And the guy on top of the mountain has got a siren activator. So he decides when to clear the beach as well.
The count is behind them, and we're going to have 6 attempts to get roughly 100 people standing up on one wave. broken the world record, unofficially as yet. We've got 73 people up and riding on one wave for longer than 5 seconds. So a big thank you to everyone involved, all the contestants, all the spectators, and of course the Kahuna Surfing Academy for putting it all together.
The privilege of getting the only interview he gave during his visit. And what he had to say is somewhat controversial and may come as a surprise to many.
And many of us just drift through life, busying ourselves with our own day-to-day survival. Some individuals, however, have dedicated their lives and their research in trying to understand how our universe came about and what its future holds for us. Many would cite Albert Einstein as one of the greatest scientists of all time. But will there be another such genius? Earlier this year, some of the world's most eminent scientists descended on the seaside resort of Muizenberg to support an initiative to find an African Einstein.
Where would the planet's foremost scientists choose to meet the public? At the Muizenberg Pavilion. Let us go inside.
Amongst the stellar personalities attending was the administrator of NASA, Michael Griffin.
Headed for the surface of Mars. After landing and bouncing a couple of dozen times, the spacecraft came to arrest. The airbags deflated. This is an actual photograph of the spacecraft taken from itself as it sets out across the sands of Mars.
Next was Nobel Physics laureate David Gross, who revolutionized our understanding of atoms and their nuclei.
Most of the universe is made of stuff that we don't know, that we can indirectly infer from the motion of stars and galaxies or from the expansion of the universe. Dark matter is 90% of the matter in the universe, but it's not the stuff that we are made of. It's a new kind of matter.
George Smoot won his Nobel Physics Prize for mapping the early universe, in which galaxies later formed.
And then you get more and more mature galaxies, but then we have this mysterious dark energy that's causing the universe to accelerate. So let me show you how this looks when you sort of go outside of it and look back. And you'll see a very interesting feature here called the Great Wall. And one of the things that we speculated about is how probable is something like this Great Wall of galaxies.
And the world's best-known living scientist, cosmologist Stephen Hawking, will help prove mathematically that the universe must have had a beginning. Hawking suffers from Lou Gehrig's disease, which restricts him to only communicate by moving a cheek muscle that sends messages to a voice synthesizer connected to his computer.
We show that the universe could bounce. If Einstein's general theory of relativity is correct, there will be a singularity, a point of infinite density in space-time curvature, where time has a beginning.
A packed audience, 800 people. The interest was so intense, the excitement was so high, that I understand that the public and some scientists actually stood and broke down a door.
A surprise to many was Stephen Hawking's relationship with Pip Witter, a former cabinet minister who met Hawking in Cambridge in the 1990s. But what was it that attracted the world's top scientists to the humble little suburb of Muizenberg, where the previous most historic occasion was when Darwin landed in 1836?
What was once a very old and dilapidated hotel is now AIMS, the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences. It is a building where the next Einstein of tomorrow on the continent of Africa is being raised.
AIMS was founded by mathematical physics professor Neil Turok, the son of Muizenberg MP Professor Ben Turok. Neil had been working with Stephen Hawking in Cambridge when he decided that Africa could be the place to seek out a future science genius.
What does it take for a South African in Cambridge to persuade the world's greatest scientist with his disability in coming all this way? What brings Stephen?
Well, maybe people in South Africa don't realize the esteem with which the country is held worldwide. It was a very easy case to make because Stephen has been following the progress in South Africa for years. He's a huge admirer of Mandela. He's written to Mandela. There's this connection with Pick Botha, So I just go to him and I say, I'd like to want to start an institute in South Africa for attracting students from all over Africa, the best lecturers in the world. Will you support us? And he said, of course I will.
Neil believes that these students at AIM should be supported in what they are trying to achieve for this continent.
It's very simple. You've got to look for opportunities. What opportunities are there in Africa which have been missed? Well, the first one is the very bright people. So they can have successful careers in Africa because they're the ones who will figure out the solutions, who then presidents and ministers will see, wow, we can have brilliant people in Africa. You build self-confidence and a sort of can-do spirit. That's the way to do it.
With the support of Neil Turok, 50/50 was able to secure the only interview with Stephen Hawking during his visit to South Africa. Joining us on the interview was Pick Werter.
Professor Hawking, an issue we didn't discuss during our first meetings has been this one. Is the present observable universe the first universe?
The universe seems to have begun in a Big Bang about 14 billion years ago. All the evidence is consistent with the universe having been spontaneously quantum created out of nothing at the Big Bang, so there would be no earlier universe. This would be the only universe of which we had knowledge.
That's one of Stephen's greatest contributions, is that the universe has had a definite beginning, and simply not the result of a bounce, but the beginning of the cosmos.
We also wanted to know whether a planet under similar conditions as ours could produce life, even in a primitive form.
We believe that life arose spontaneously on the Earth, so it must be possible for life to appear on other suitable planets, of which there seem to be a large number in the galaxy, but we don't know how life first appeared. The probability of something as complicated as a DNA molecule being formed by random collisions of atoms in a primeval ocean is incredibly small. Still, even if the probability of life appearing on a suitable planet is very small, since the universe is infinite, life would have appeared somewhere. We don't seem to have been visited by aliens, and we haven't picked up any of their television signals, so the next advanced civilization is at least a few hundred light years away, and maybe in another galaxy.
So indeed, we are in a lonely spot, as we've heard from Stephen. The universe might have primitive life forms zooming in all over the place, but I think what Stephen is really saying is that advanced life is a very unique process.
But he didn't rule it out.
That's correct. Absolutely. Now, I understand your third question, Pick, really delves into the heart of what might be on the minds of millions of viewers.
What happens to human self-consciousness when one dies?
I imagine what happens to human consciousness when we die is much like turning off a computer. I don't believe in a heaven for computers. I think the afterlife is a fairy story for people afraid of the dark.